You're watching someone rise, not slowly, not cautiously, all at once, a star. The applause is constant, the attention is relentless, the admiration feels endless, and at first it looks like safety. Money removes pressure, fame removes invisibility, power removes obstacles, but something else happens at the same time. The feedback disappears. It begins in small ways. Boundaries start to soften. People stop saying no, and there's no resistance to doing whatever it takes to make it and stay on the top. Not because they agree, but because they're afraid to interrupt the momentum. Here's the question no one likes to ask. What happens when money, power, and millions of people begin shaping the life of a single human, all at the same time? Because this isn't just success, it's saturation. The mind wasn't built to carry this much projection, this much expectation, this much entitlement disguised as admiration. The crowd sees a symbol, the industry sees a resource, the inner circle sees opportunity, and the person at the center slowly stops being treated like a person at all. Not violently, quietly. This is where the damage begins. To understand the psychological cost of fame and riches, you have to understand feedback. Human behavior is regulated by constant signals, facial expressions, social consequences, emotional reciprocity, rejection, disapproval. These signals keep perception calibrated, but fame and extreme wealth disrupt this system. Psychologists refer to this as asymmetrical feedback environments, situations where information flows inward, but corrective signals cannot flow back. And when millions are watching you, but as none can correct you, when money absorbs consequences, when power delays accountability, the brain begins to rely on internal reward loops instead of external reality. This is reinforced by 4 mechanisms. Parasocial projection. Audiences project unmet emotional needs onto public figures. The individual becomes a container for fantasy, longing, an identity, and belonging. Without consent, de-individuation. Through admiration. Being admired at scale strips individuality. You are no longer perceived as complex, contradictory, or vulnerable, only as a role. Dominance insulation. Wealth and influence reduce perceived threat, causing the nervous system to relax empathy-related sensitivity, not intentionally yet slowly and efficiently. And finally, predictive processing failure. The brain stops updating its internal model because nothing contradicts it. Applause replaces accuracy. This system rewards silence. It punishes resistance. It reframes exploitation as loyalty. And once established, it becomes self-sustaining. The damage doesn't announce itself. It accumulates. The person at the center begins to feel unreal, not superior, but detached. Every interaction feels performative. Every emotion feels unsafe. Every mistake becomes permanent. So, the mind adapts. It numbs. It fragments. It mythologizes itself. This is where godlike thinking emerges, not from arrogance, but from emotional isolation, combined with unchecked influence. At the same time, those nearby adapt too. Silence becomes strategy. Complicity becomes survival. Proximity becomes currency. People are trampled not always by malice, but by momentum. Victims disappear not because no one noticed, but because noticing would threaten the structure. History is filled with these patterns. Empires, cults, dynasties, entertainment industries, each a part of different eras, yet all sharing the same mechanism. Power concentrates. Feedback collapses. Human cost becomes invisible. This mechanism, it starts slowly, but you notice it when fans defend harm to preserve fantasy. When adults project devotion onto children they've never met. When obsession is framed as love. You see it when public figures are denied the right to fail privately, yet blamed when they collapse publicly. You see it when entourages grow quiet, when contracts replace conscience, when access becomes leverage. You see it in digital spaces, influencers treated as property, audiences demanding authenticity while punishing honesty, harassment framed as entitlement. You see it in hierarchies where money shields behavior, where power delays consequences, where victims are asked to wait. You see it when silence is rewarded. Whistleblowers vanish, rumors persist for years before acknowledgement arrives. None of this requires monsters. only imbalance. The psychological cost of fame and riches isn't that people become evil, it's that systems remove friction faster than the human mind can adapt. Attention becomes invasive. Money becomes insulating. Power becomes asymmetrical. Unfortunately, awareness doesn't dismantle these systems, but it reveals them. And once seen, they are harder to excuse, harder to normalize, harder to repeat without recognition. Because patterns don't need belief, they only need time. And time has shown this one again and again. What you heard isn't a theory, it's a pattern. One that hides behind applause and admiration, behind access, behind silence bought with money and fear. It lives in systems that reward looking away, in crowds that confuse worship with love, in power that moves faster than accountability. This kind of moral decay isn't loud, it's procedural. It doesn't ask for permission, only time. In the next video, we'll examine another pattern people sense but rarely confront because seeing it changes everything.